Is live, fellas. John, do your thing, man.
Welcome, everyone. This is the What is Good podcast forum edition. So, in tonight's podcast, we have the Florida chapter of Woodworkers. So they're a rowdy bunch, but I already told them that they have to quell their speech and mute their microphones when they're not talking.
I'm gonna have to Google what quell means real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute my mic.
All right, guys. I'm out. This is PJ signing off. I'm done for the night.
Yeah, he said quell, so I'm done. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna let introductions go. So PJ, you can go first.
Oh boy. All right. My name is PJ. Everybody. It's well, everybody's not my last name. My name is PJ Fetcher of the Evolution of Tables down here in South Florida. Mobile sawmill and furniture service at your service. Arturo.
I can't follow that up.
Come on, dude.
This is all right.
You practice that for like 6 hours.
No, my name is Arturo, the Chop Master. I don't have a catchy slogan with all that. I do CNC work. I do some furniture making, dining tables. Anything mostly CNC work related. So
Nicely done,
Chris.
Nicely done.
All right. Yeah, I'm Chris with Cowdog Craftworks. I am an aspiring content creator, legal extraordinaire. Bunch of shenanigans going on over here. So on to you, Dusko.
Yeah, I'm Dusko Pesic, DB Woodworks. And I don't know, I just like making things out of wood. There's no long story yet.
It's a very long story to Dusko. There's an extremely long story. One of an admiration, actually.
Listen, we have all night.
Yeah, we do.
So I want to take a moment to recognize the people in the chat. So we have Uncle Ron. Uncle Ron will be visiting me tomorrow night. We're going to go out to dinner.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
yeah, he's a member of the 3D printing community. We have one Raz, awesome dude, always coming in. Jake from State Farm, Matt is here. So if you ever have insurance issues, just reach out to him. And we got Chris Cunningham of Cunningham Woodwork.
Oh man,
you remember Chris? Chris was PJ's. PJ helped run it in place of Jason that night.
I don't know about running.
You did an excellent job. Yeah, it was good stuff. So hey, thanks everyone for stopping in and hanging out with us.
I just want to know if Jake from State Farm is actually wearing khakis right now. Really my thing. Yeah.
Well, Chris, are you even wearing pants right now? Your camera's facing pretty far up.
Yeah, I could get up more.
It's all good.
Please sit down.
We're good.
He did close those blinds behind him, though.
All right, and one other thing I'd like to say is that we're using StreamYard for this. If you're not familiar with StreamYard, it's a pretty cool product for letting you share up to 10 people within a forum.
That's pretty cool.
So, all right,
Yo, John, before we start, do you mind if I smoke?
Oh yeah, I don't care. That doesn't matter.
Dusko, I'm sure he can't smell it from where he is. To be honest, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
It's also not even real smoke. Let's be clear about that. Like, this is an ongoing joke in the group chat.
Chris, behave, man, behave.
So Jake from State Farm said he doesn't wear pants most days. So,
boy. Listen, it's a free country, man.
He's a commando. All right. So we heard PJ's story last time, so we're going to skip ahead and we'll just go through this. Let's talk about Arturo.
Yes.
So Master Chopper. So
yes.
Arturo, that means you're supposed to say stuff now.
You have to take your
I deal with this stuff, man.
Take it off of mute.
Oh God.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, so tell us your story, how you got into woodworking.
So I started 2 years ago. Actually, it was my wife's idea. She engraves on pencils and stuff like that. And she was like, hey, I want to engrave on cutting boards. And lumber selection, yes, that's important. That's how it all started. So then she was like, hey, I want to engrave on cutting boards. And I was like, you know what? I don't do nothing in the afternoons. How about I make the cutting boards and then we can engrave on them? So I started off with that. Jeez. Oh, there we go. I started off with that, making cutting boards and not engraving on them. So just making a ton of cutting boards that I've gotten rid of lately, actually. And then from there, it's progressed. Since I like computers and stuff like that, I got more into like the CNC work, and I have a CAD background. So I started doing a lot of like with small CNCs, doing a lot of work with that. And actually, the last 6 months, I got heavy into CNCing work, and I actually sold the 2 smaller machines I had. Well, smaller compared to the one I have now, which is like a 5x12. And yeah, so it's been making a little bit of everything actually lately, but more furniture pieces. That's where we really want to focus on some furniture stuff, the little bit higher end stuff. But I still make signs, and like today I was making trees for my daughter's graduation, my little daughter's graduation. They wanted some standing trees that they can place an apple with their name on it, like an apple tree. So yeah, that's pretty much that exactly that.
There it is.
A little scary, but yeah, that's it. Right there.
Yeah, that looks good, man.
That was pretty cool,
Yeah,
man.
I
How did you design that, or did they give you like a kind of outline of what they wanted, or did you do that from
So-
start to finish?
No,
So I
this is
asked
not-
them. I asked them, hey, give me, draw me what you want, because I'm not the creative type. Draw me what you want, and I can, import it to Aspire and figure it out from there. And they never really did. So then my was like, you got to do that because they graduate in 2 weeks. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So then I Googled what would look like an apple tree
Mm-hmm.
and designed it into like a 4x4 area. And started, because they're, obviously these are 3 and 4 year olds graduating, so they need to be able to reach and put, a little apple with their name onto
Sure.
the tree. So
awesome,
we
man.
cut it out. I just cut it out today, actually.
Are you gonna? I mean, I hate. Well, if I'm ever asked to do a project like this, are you gonna paint this?
Well, usually I would,
Yeah.
or wouldn't, but
They
it
gonna
depends
do
on
it?
what they ask. But in this particular instance, they requested not to have it painted, just to cut it out for them, and they'll paint
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay. Nice.
Teachers wanted to paint it. I was
Yeah,
like, all
man.
right, cool.
Yeah, I like that. Meet me halfway.
Yeah. I don't always do things for them. Might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it
You
didn't take long.
gotta get kids to do something, man. They love doing that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know what their plan is, because they don't tell you a lot since they're graduating. They want things to surprise you, so they'll probably have the kids drawn and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made 3 of those. This actually came out pretty cool. And then they stand. I made the little base, and it took like 12 minutes on the CNC to cut 3 of them out.
Nice.
Sheet of
Okay.
4x8.
See that?
What feed rate are you using, and what's
See, I like that. I like that picture, man. See,
Yeah, it's a 1/2 inch wide side compression bit, and I was going at 200 inches per minute.
dang?
Yeah, which is a little slow.
And so you're doing 1/2 inch? Are you doing 1/4 inch cuts? Or are you going down deeper than that?
No, I usually remember on a compression bit, you want the bottom part of the bit to go in, first. So whatever that distance is, which like in this case is like a 1/4 inch. So anything over a 1/4 inch, you'll be okay in the plunge. So then I usually plunge like on plywood MDF. In this case, it's like 3/8,
Hmm.
and then do the rest, the 3/4. So I do 2 passes.
Okay.
Wow.
What
Later
this plywood?
but you do cut all the way through, basically.
Yeah, I do it in 2
Yeah.
cuts, because
Right.
remember the compression bit, you want to do it in 2 cuts.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
you always want to do it in 2 cuts plus, but you always want to get
And-
that first part of the bottom half of that bit in.
And you do
so
have
don't-
you do have a vacuum on that stuff, so you got nothing to worry about.
right. Well, in this plywood, I didn't have to. I just threw like a few little taps, because remember the compression bit, it has an up and down cut. So when you're doing the final pass, the down cut's actually pushing the whole piece down. So most of the time, it just holds it if it's a big enough piece.
Right.
Yeah, because the thing with the vacuum table, it becomes a little iffy sometimes, especially if you're doing like a bunch of little cuts. If you do like more solid rectangle pieces, they come out a lot easier, because they have more making trees out of trees. There you go. So you have more surface area to grab onto. But when you're doing things like this, the vacuum is not really that helpful. So, but yeah, I did it with a compression bit, 200 inches per minute, which is a little slow. The machine does now with the better steppers and stuff like that, about 400 or 500.
Wow.
So what size steppers do you have?
They're hybrids.
Like
They're
Nemo
12
34s?
millimeter. No, these are like beyond. They're Nemo 34s, but they're hybrids. So they're servos and steppers.
So is it a stepper with a
like a
encoder?
servo monitoring?
So it's got an encoder on it.
Right. So it has an encoder. Correct. Yeah. So it detects any of the any little.
So you have a special driver for it too, then.
Well, you remember the hybrids come. Yeah, they come with their own special drivers, but it comes as a kit. It's really hard to find them
Can
separate.
you send me that information? Because I want to do that too. So now when you're controlling, are you controlling it with Mach 3 or some other software?
I use Mach 3.
All right. So now with Mach 3, is there anything special that you're doing, or does the drivers manage all that? So let me get my question proper. So you're driving it. Let's say it misses some steps. Does the Mach 3 keep going, or does it know that, okay, it aired out, I have to back up a little bit and let it continue?
That gets adjusted on the driver itself automatically.
Okay, so the driver is managing the error and everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you use like an acorn for the acorn driver for all that instantly thought of the Brady Bunch. Am I the only one? Ha! I said the same thing. No, the acorn will throw off a warning signal, but since I don't use an acorn, I use like a Chinese, like stepper board. That one won't throw out like an error code, but the drivers will self-adjust themselves. Like they'll compensate for that.
That's really cool. So I want to build my own. I already built my own CNC like 12 years ago, but I want to build a bigger one. I want to go for like 4x8.
That's small.
So I
man.
could
That's small.
Yeah, I know you got like 5x12 or some crap.
Yeah, 5x12. It really could go 5x14 because it extends all the way.
It's a big show off. Yeah. I just want to be able to throw a full sheet on there, and I want to make sure.
Yeah,
John, I think it's gonna get to 5x12, man.
5x12 MDF, yeah.
There you go.
He's got a guy for it too. He'll
I got a guy for
it. Yeah, because I just want to be able to throw a full sheet on there, but I want to design it in such a way that the cutting area is 4x8.
Yeah, the 4x8. I want to sell this one and get a 4x8.
What?
That's what I was
I might
referring
have to take a drive down to Florida.
Dude,
there you go.
so if you're serious about selling it, I got a spot you could put it.
Yeah, Dusko's.
I know. In Dusko's house, I know.
Just goes by the house around the corner.
And we're gonna put an AC in.
All right, Renaissance fan, tell me about it. This is awesome. I have no clue what everyone's talking about. I'm right there with you, dude. Don't worry.
Compression, isn't that the stuff you do like
to when you're on the toilet, like I got him.
Jeez.
I think that's when they say when they yell clear.
That was tonight
Yeah,
in PJ's shop. He was yelling clear left and right.
All right, so now this is the part of the show where we just look at all your pictures and go, ooh,
Wow. That's a nice table, man.
The walnut desk I did the other day. Let me see if I can screen share. Oh, no, I can't screen share. Nah.
Why don't you talk to us about those breadboard ends? Because I'm always curious about breadboard ends in South Florida and how they survive.
How they don't survive? Well, they do, man. Yeah, they do.
They hold up. What I learned is that when I'm doing stuff like that, I like to bring them in my house for a little bit, like for a couple of days. Let them get acclimated to my house since they're going to be indoors, and then usually I never had a problem with them. I never have them splitting or anything like that.
Oh, perfect. You're highlighting.
Yeah, I'm not good with spelling.
Yeah.
And I just put them together to show the letters. Guy.
Yeah.
There you go, right?
That's a Game of Thrones character, actually.
It's a Cuban version, man.
Oh my
What's wrong
god.
with that?
use my jigsaw today. Good job, man.
Oh, damn. That's awesome.
Let me tell you what, the jigsaw is a very undervalued tool, I think.
And it's super versatile.
Yes.
You can throw an aluminum like blade and cut some aluminum, then switch to wood and just keep going. And I love it.
You can cut ferrous metals with special blades on the jigsaw too. Like I've seen.
I think I have like 2 or 3 of them in my shop. I have no clue where they're at.
So now, when you cut this piece here, so you get a lot of this tear out and stuff. You just handle that with sandpaper. And is that the type of bit that you use? Could it be better with a bit?
No,
you can save it with a compression bit, but my compression bit, like the 1/4-inch compression bit, broke because I dropped it on the concrete. They break easily.
I didn't know that.
1/4 inches. Yeah, so I had to use a regular 1/4 inch. But normally, what I would do is run a compression 1/4 inch, and then you won't have that blowout. But then you get some sandpaper, some 220, and just pass it right on top, and that's it. You'll be all right.
So now you're is this a vacuum table?
Yeah, that's the vacuum table. That's 1/8 of the vacuum. 1/8 of the vacuum table.
Wow. So what is all those channels in there? Basically, just like
the veins are enough to pull the piece down.
Right, right. So that's what we were talking about before. Like let's say with the trees, you see how the base is too small. So what happens is too many of those channels get exposed, and it won't hold the piece anymore.
Yes,
it loses vacuum.
Sure.
So it's a little frustrating. So depending on what I'm doing, I usually plan the bigger part of the project on top of the actual port. So the port has the most direct vacuum right there.
Sure.
So that's what I do.
So let's say I got a piece of I don't know 2x2, and so it's not going to take up the whole space. But if I position it in the center here over the main port, that vacuum is going to keep it in place.
Yeah, it'll keep it in place. The only thing is that it won't be efficient, obviously. So you'll be pulling lesser vacuum.
It's like getting delta P'd, you know. You don't ever want to get delta P. Dusko, you know about delta P, don't you?
No.
That's the fraternity that let him in with the vaping.
I've heard of it.
Oh my God. That's how he had to get in.
John,
they haste him.
You said no cursing here, right?
Correct.
We got warned already.
We're gonna do it in the after show.
Dusko's gonna come hard in the group chat. That's what he's gonna do.
I'm writing all this stuff down.
He's starting to write already. You can see it. You get the little bubble that's their name. Yeah, look at that. Those beer flights are also. So look, those beer flights. Those were done. And then the picture under it's like the raw one. Those were done. Like to answer your question, that piece is like they're 6 inches wide. This like the final piece is not. It's less, but the actual like raw piece was 6 inches wide. So what I did was I put them on top of the ports, and I held them down.
That's crazy. So you got to send me a picture of your motor too, man, for doing the vacuum. Now on that vacuum, is that just a cyclone too to capture any dust that comes through, or is that just a straight up?
No. These are two different vacuums. One is one's a dust collector, and one's a legit vacuum. Like this is a vacuum pumped out,
sucking the crap out of the tape.
Take your hand.
That's a good question, John. Like, what happens if you do get a significant amount of dust that goes into that vacuum table? Like, does that impeller get chewed up?
No, there's a dust. Like, there's a filter.
Okay.
That it filters out. Yeah, it filters out. Is that thing? The vacuum that came with that CNC is a very like commercial table. It's all commercial, so it's like it pulls like 24 bars of vacuum at a time. So it'll pull your hand. It'll pull your hand into the pipe.
You're
not careful.
Holy crap! Yeah, well, it'll suck all your blood out.
And the whole and the whole time. Arturo, whole time, what is it? How long you think you could just run it?
I've done it
without really having to stop it.
I've run it for 8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
But then
crazy.
like now the issue I'm having now is my bays, they don't have enough power for running the vacuum because it pulls like almost 40 amps, and the spindle, which pulls another 30 amps. So I'm like, I can run it for like an hour maybe before the breakers pop.
Man,
Wow.
Yeah. So I ran the
So
8
is the
hours back
spindle
like
220?
yeah, the spindle's a 220. It's a 223 phase, but with the VFD it goes to a single phase, so it pulls more amperage than it.
you run a VFD or does your building have 3-phase?
No, I run a VFD.
Oh,
I don't have 3-phase. If you get 2 bays, you can have the 3-phase.
oh, okay.
But I
Oh,
only
with
have
the
one.
VFD, you can do.
That's where they get
you can
you.
do 220 to the VFD.
Yeah. So, but what happens is that you're pulling a lot more amperage. So instead of pulling like
Yeah.
7 amps, like I would be pulling half the amps. Currently, I'm pulling 34 amps.
Currently.
34 amps just the spindle, just the spindle, and then another 34 amps for the vacuum. So that's I'm about to hit 70. And remember, the hotter it gets down here, you lose amperage.
Yeah. Keep certain parts away from the vacuum.
So, but then now, I mean, remember that vacuum and machine is all from like 2006 or something like that. So, like, there's a lot more like efficient.
Who made the machine?
That's
Dial-up internet. Oh my god.
It's what again?
Dial-up internet. Everything still exists.
Dial up.
Oh yeah.
Man.
What's his name? Sorry. Renaissance Man was saying our CNC is compatible with dial-up internet.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, ask
You know
PJ.
what? I
He's
don't
still
even
using it for
have
the
internet in
podcast
the
on
shop.
Saturdays.
No, man, that's because my daughter was watching the Disney Channel and she was also watching the Disney Channel on the iPad, and I was streaming with you guys, so we took a decent amount of bandwidth up.
So Mila was double fisting Disney Channel.
Yeah,
Really
yeah, it's for real. She had like Sophia the First on the iPad,
Oh my
and
god!
yeah, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse on the TV. So I charged by the hours fully. Still rocks.
He stole rocks.
I don't know who this guy is, but I really like.
He
Oh,
serves
dude.
for keeping the stream lively. Oh my god.
I was going back and forth with him when I was
Where are you
putting
from, Renaissance Man?
the saw stop on the base. Like he's like, yo, anybody could do that. It's like if it's that saw weighs 400 pounds. Come on, man. That's how we do it up here in Jersey. Like that's a lightweight saw, man. Let's go. Get it out of the truck. Get it in the sight. Let's go.
Let's go.
Guys,
Yeah.
that's a different breed, man.
Oh. If you go up a little bit.
Oh.
Keep
Hey,
going.
what are you doing with those rosewood slabs, man? What is
To the
that?
left. To the left, that's the raw piece, and then I put it on top of the ports. But then what
Wow.
I did was have MDF around it, like another sheet of 5x12 MDF, and I actually cut out the 8-foot long by 6 inches wide area, so I can just place it in, and then the 2 ports, so I won't lose that much vacuum.
Mm.
Because you lose like
yeah.
half the vacuum doing that.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, man. What are you asking, PJ? You're asking something? Oh, the rosewood slab?
Yeah, man. What are you doing over there? Come on.
Oh,
Cheating on me?
I have those.
This guy's cheating on me.
I'm not cheating on you. That was back in the day. I didn't even know you.
I know, man. I know. Thanks to that is rosewood, though, right? Yeah, that's
I
Yes,
love
yeah,
how
yeah.
PJ, you can show him your wood and he can identify it right away.
Sisu
I
is
know,
another
right?
name for it. It's a
Yeah, there they are.
there they are. Yeah.
And what did you say
How
there,
about
PJ? What's it called?
Indian
Rosewood.
rosewood. Indian
But you said
rosewood,
something
so-
else.
There's another name it goes by. It's called Sisu. SISS or
No, PJ,
SISOO.
the slab I have in my garage, is that also Indian or
I think
Indian rosewood?
damn straight 400 pounds. Hell yeah. That's the job that's all here.
That's Yugoslavian rosewood.
That's
You can
yes.
tell them?
It's actually it's black ironwood. It's one of the densest, hardest woods in the world.
All right, now we got to switch. We got to switch it up now. So let's go to Chris.
Uh-oh.
Chris, take it.
Oh man.
Take it.
I've heard that before. Like, I'm sorry, man. Sorry.
Take it like a champ.
So, what? I guess how did I get into woodworking? So I bought a house and I realized I needed furniture, and a friend turned me on to YouTube, And I was always kind of a little bit handy. Like I did a lot of the remodel in my house, doing drywall and flooring, etc. And so I had a bunch of tools left over, and I was like, you know what, I can tackle this. And before that too, funny enough, there's all this huge epoxy and fiberglass craze, and I grew up surfing, and I was actually running a surfboard repair business out of my parents' garage in high school. And then when I went to college, I also ran that out of a storage unit while I was in college. So I'm actually super familiar with sanders and epoxy, funny enough, and those kind of things. So yeah, that's kind of, the rest is history a little bit. I've been getting a little more into the content game because I'm a little tired of clients. But outside of that,
Where's the fun in that?
well, let's put it this way. Right now, client business is what fuels my content because that is not producing any money presently. So, there's that. But I think for the fact that I have a very consistent and solid day job that pays me weekly, it allows me to be a little more, I guess, picky and choosy about the clientele. And actually, one of the best stories about all this and me getting into woodworking is really the phenomenon of me and PJ linking back up. So for those who don't know the story, PJ and I went to elementary school together. Like, we've literally known each other since the first grade. And we were in like this special like gifted program together, like when we were kids. And his mom was my 5th grade math teacher. That was a funny experience.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But after elementary school, PJ and I never heard from each other again. We went to different middle schools, we went to different high schools, different colleges, etc. And once I got into woodworking, I started kind of diving into some live edge work. And a buddy of mine who's actually a roommate, and he, I guess, and PJ had some mutual friends, and he was like, hey, like, check out this guy on Instagram, see what he's doing. He's local. And I saw the picture. I was like, oh my God, like, that's that kid. Like, that's that kid I went to elementary school with. That's the kid who made a penny cleaner for the 5th grade science fair. He's trash. Like, don't buy slabs from him. But then, like, anyway, we hung out, and it turns out that PJ lives quite literally right down the road from me. I mean, he's what, like
a mile.
A mile?
Literally a mile, yeah.
Yeah. And then his father-in-law literally lives kitty corner from my house. So, the rest is history, like the evolution of cow dogs, which is our
joint business. So
yeah, it's our joke, but I mean, that's kind of, our jam a little bit at the same time. So
it's kind of been a thing for real. Like we've actually done, with the collaborations we've done have been pretty large. Uncle Ron says, was that a microwave? Yes, it was a microwave transformer for the burning of the wood. But that's a great story, Chris. That's a beautiful, touching story.
I mean, we hear it once a week.
I feel like I was there.
I feel like it happened.
I feel like it happened to us.
Yeah, it was the real thing.
We all started to believe that, though.
What's that, Dusko?
We all started to believe the story, though.
Yes, if we say
you hear it
enough, yeah, you'll start to believe it.
Absolutely.
Man, look at all these cool videos Chris has, man.
I know, right?
Like, I think also, like, Chris is, I've said this before, Chris is extraordinarily good at networking. I think maybe like in his eyes, he stumbled upon me. Basically, I'm just like a crab, isolated, and he kind of like said, "Dude, why aren't you doing more? Basically, why aren't you like out there?" And then here we are. Like I'm out there now, because of him. I'm not crying though. I'm not crying. You're crying. I forgot where it's going.
Every day, man.
What, man? I'm sorry. Listen, I like to express my appreciation. Okay, like
I know, but you keep saying it.
All right, listen, Arturo, I appreciate you too, dude.
No,
Don't be jealous, man.
I am jealous. Look at the bromance. I'm hating just a little bit.
Sorry, dude. Oh, this is Dusko.
Yeah, that's the Dusko shop. This is actually no.
Hey, what is that? What is
this
that?
Yeah, this is the stencil. So
Yeah,
this is how.
Texting. That's
No.
how we met.
He's
That's
making
how we
fun
all
of.
met.
He's making fun of the size of Dusko's seats. That's what I'm saying.
No, but this is how that
Cute.
that Instagram post more or less is how we got our entire network together as
Mhm.
far as like the
Yeah.
South Florida crew. Like when it
Yeah.
really boils down to it, that's how that starts. With
That
that.
started right there. Not only
Yeah.
that, but I messaged him because of that, and I asked him, "Hey, if you need bigger stuff, let me know."
No way. Oh, so you were trying to pull the rug out from under Dusko. I said,
No,
No.
He said, if you need wood, I'm your guy.
yeah,
Yeah, if you need wood, I give you some good wood.
that's true.
That's
That's,
one thing.
probably it.
Yeah.
No, but I told him, I was like, "Hey,
We
I
don't need
got
wood.
I got CNC. If you need some help, I got you, bro."
Yeah, because I mean, essentially, the situation was that PG and I were working on a job for an axe throwing bar, and the guy wanted his logo stenciled onto the tables, and it was kind of a competitive job in the sense that I guess he was going to get it outsourced from somebody out in Texas or whatever, and so we're like, listen, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll get a CNC made, a stencil made from a sign shop or whatever the case may be. And I had reached out to Dusko and said, hey, I see you got one. You're in Miami. Like, let's make a deal. And, it cost me a bottle of whiskey that I drank most of. So,
Yeah, that was a hell of a night. That's for
To
sure.
reiterate on that, a lot of things go on with a bottle of whiskey.
That's how
That's not
that's
just
how I met
the
Arturo.
only
Yeah.
That's
Arturo,
how we
I'll tell you what.
Bro, some things are not to be told, man.
It was a bottle of whiskey, and then Dusko bought us dinner. So really, like it
Ooh.
was scratch. It was,
I ended up doing that. Oops.
oh, man.
Did we lose Dusko? Did we?
No, but yeah, that's how everything started for real.
Mhm.
We got the tutor later. I think he saw one of those posts and
Yeah, I was in Germany. I couldn't go.
then I got him into a group chat that we have going on,
Yes.
and yeah,
Yeah. The group
that's
chat.
how it
Group chat is kind of like the kindling of the fire of our whole South Florida group, for real. Like it at one point, I remember. This is probably like the group chat goes through phases. Like about a month ago, I remember saying to myself, like, God, this thing doesn't stop, and I don't want to keep like. I'll step away from my phone or like shut it off for a couple hours and then come back and I missed 85 messages. I'm like, God, I don't want to go through all this, but it's all funny stuff and it's all relevant stuff too. Like I want to keep up. So then like it would go dead for, I don't know, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever. And then it'd be like, I wonder what everybody's doing. Like, I hope everybody's okay. Well, let me just put something stupid out there and see if anybody responds. And they all do. Like, they're all still there. It's just like, it's a really cool way of keeping in touch. We started with a lot more people than there are right now, because I'm sure like we got muted or people just kind of left the chat. But the core is still there, man. The core is still going strong.
Well, what's funny is there's probably like I want to say 4 to 5 folks that are in the group chat but never say anything, like whether or not it's muted or whatever. But they're still in there.
Yeah,
so,
they know everything that's going on.
That's Dave. Dave knows better than to write something like that.
Dave,
Poor
man.
guy, man. Dave's a good guy, man.
there are a few that you'll never see anything from.
Can you tell us a little bit about this? What you did here?
So that's the stencil that we got from Dusko, and that is made of acrylic. So I got the vector file from essentially the guys that contracted us for the gig, and I sent it to Dusko, and Dusko basically was like, yeah, this vector file is trash. Like, this is not going to work. So Dusko spent literally all night, because apparently Dusko doesn't sleep either. That's,
Ever.
When he hibernates.
When you're the Wolverine, you don't need to sleep. You just regenerate.
No, you live forever anyway.
Yeah. So
Take
Dusko...
a shower and that's it. You're good.
Dusko spent like apparently one sleepless night retracing that entire logo, and then whatever it was, he did it and made it happen. And initially it was funny, like I was trying to figure out what to use as the stencil material. And I wanted something that was reusable. And I was at Home Depot literally I think it was that day. Like I was supposed to go down to Dusko's that night. And initially the concept was to use aluminum, just some super thin aluminum and have them CNC that.
Yes.
And I'm standing at Home Depot and they're out of the one size of aluminum that I need. Like Dusko's giving me the parameters of what he needs. And I'm like, shit, like, there's no aluminum that's like in that exact size. Like, what am I going to do? So I call him. I'd never even spoken to Dusko on the phone in my life. So I call him and I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry, but like, this is what I'm faced with, blah, blah, blah. I was like, is acrylic going to work? And he's like, yeah, whatever, try it. Like, buy two just in case we screw one up. And sure enough, it worked. And I mean, we still
I think this was like shortly after we got my CNC, and I really wasn't even sure what the hell was I doing.
See, so he neglected to say that part about it.
Yeah, like this is the first time I'm hearing about that, honestly.
I thought he had the CNC for like years, but
Oh man. Okay.
Isn't that
Well,
what we all fake it until you make
I think I got it like end of October, November, something like that, like 5-6 months ago.
man. Well, he talks a good game, that's for sure.
yeah.
Boy, his size is also a little intimidating.
And honestly,
Yeah,
it came out great.
yeah.
Like,
Oh no, he did an
Yeah.
awesome job. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And the tables, as you can see, they're phenomenal. And
Oh, yeah.
actually,
You guys did an amazing job with the two shades on the
Yeah, so you just shifted the template over and then painted the black and
yeah.
white.
yeah,
That's a
That
great
was a
idea.
really nice touch. That was an amazing touch. That's beautiful.
that was an argument actually between me and PJ for like 45 minutes. He was like trying to figure out like what I was doing, and it
I
was
was like, Chris will tell me like, dude, stop offering all these extra options. Like, do less, man. Like, do what you agreed to do, and like maybe throw in a little something here and there. But then he's like, dude, stop. Like, I know you like to go above and beyond, but stop, And then what does he do? He turns around. He's on the phone with these people. Like, oh yeah, well we can do this and we can do that. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, you tell me to stop. You stop.
Yeah, but now look at what he created.
But yeah, exactly. And that's that's why I don't listen to him when he tells me to stop, because I like the way it looks.
Yeah, that's really, really. It
No,
really
it's really cool.
stands
The
out.
contrast. Oh yeah, man.
that is like one of the funny things about our
I
dynamic.
did my
too.
shirt like this.
Yeah. So like, when we work together, especially, it's one of those things where, PJ will be like, what are you standing the bottom of this table at 224 right now? Like, why are you
No.
doing that?
Bottom,
Like,
dude.
there's just certain things where my sort of craziness matches his craziness and it just tends to work out. So,
Well, like today too, like you were like overthinking the hell out of bending that metal, and I'm like kind of watching him with half an eye as I'm working on something completely different in the shop, and he's just like he walked away from it for a second. I'm like, all right, now's my chance. I just like walked over there and grabbed it and like bent it up, and he's like, wait, I want to get it on camera. I'm like, just do it, just do it, just do it. If it messes up, okay, whatever. But if it works, then you look like a stud.
How'd you do the numbers here?
that is essentially a cutting board, really. I mean, that's really all that is. And then those numbers are from your good old orange big box store. And they literally come with the templates. So I just laid them out, drilled them, and then it's a floating setup. Just popped them in there.
That's
Done.
really cool.
PJ, is the cutting board that kind of almost killed my drum sander?
No, but it's
very
funny that,
similar.
Yeah. So after this, I got a bunch of requests for those. I ended up doing about 3 or 4 of them. So yeah.
That was good.
Uncle Ron says put a wood burner in the CNC and burn logos in. That Dusko's on it, man. He's got the laser in the CNC right now.
Yeah, the laser is happening right now. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. It really is.
Bros.
Simple, quick. It's great.
Yeah, that's it. So this picture is actually kind of interesting too, because we had linked up with a local guy who reached out to me through Instagram, this guy Max, and Max is a professional photographer down here.
He thought it was cute in his profile picture.
Yeah.
Is this the picture
exactly.
after 25 years when you guys are united, or what?
Yeah, pretty
More
much.
or less, yeah. I mean, what? Like, this is a month removed, something like that. So, yeah. So Max, like I said, is a professional photographer. he was just kind of like looking to switch it up. He wanted to just try something a little bit different, and he says that he never said this, but I'm convinced that he told me that he was tired of taking pictures of hot girls in bikinis on the beach all the
I
time.
remember that. He definitely did say that, and I thought he was crazy because
Yeah.
Like, did you hear yourself just now?
Yeah, exactly.
He can come in my shop anytime he wants to take a picture of wood.
So yeah, like
Oh, man.
he was just looking for something to do, and I told him, I was like, yeah, like come hang out with us. We'll do something, and then we let him walk away with a bench that we made for him that day out of some super green wood. Yeah. So, and no, Ron, we are not in New Jersey. All of us are down in Florida. So
look at that crane, Renaissance man. I love you too, dude. That crane is freaking that's game changer.
Beast mode, yeah. Awesome.
Man, the Renaissance man gonna come down to Miami, to South Florida. Man.
Yeah. I think he fit in well.
You want to welcome over here, brother.
I like the fire, man. I like the passion.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to switch gears now.
Uh-oh.
So let's switch over.
Oh shit.
Dusko.
Damn.
Dusko, you're on, man. You are on.
Ooh, the pressure's on.
Bringing that special kind of energy he always does.
Yeah, the energy that we can't say what kind it is.
But it's special. Special.
No, man. I started woodworking. I don't know, like 3-4 years ago. I don't know. I think it was a domino table, and decided to actually design one and build one. I really haven't had any equipment or anything like that. So I went on and got my father's table saw. I think I got my father's miter saw and drill press, like super old. I think PJ ended up with one of those saws. So that's really how everything started. I made a little domino table. I actually designed the domino table the way I kind of always wanted. I don't really play dominoes that much, but when I do, it's always kind of like, I'm looking for a place to put my phone. I'm looking for a place to put my drink so it's out of the way. And I don't know, it was always something missing. So I was like, okay, let me design something. And I kind of designed this domino table that kind of hit right after that. But, really ever since I was a little boy, my grandfather was a handyman at this hospital, and he had a little basement shop in the apartment where he lives. It was like one of those houses from the 12th centuries where I'm from. I'm originally from former Yugoslavia, Serbia, Montenegro. So I was always hanging out with him over there, passing in the tools, and I was always kind of fascinated. And then it was a period of time, maybe, my profession, I'm a former merchant mariner. I'm a vessel captain. And I don't know, always, even when I was in the ships, when I worked in the ships, I was always kind of hanging out with the carpenters and people fixing stuff. And I wanted to be an engineer, actually. And my dad, who is an engineer, he was like, no, if you're going to go on the ship, you're going to be up on the bridge. So it's much easier, work and everything else. He was looking out for me. So, but I always hanged up any single moment of my basically free time. I was down either in the engine or hanging out with the carpenters. So fast forward maybe 15, 20 years, I had, since I was building my career and whatnot, finally I found time to dedicate some of my personal stuff to stuff I really like, and turned out that there was the wood. So build that table, and everything after that, it's a history.
It's been all downhill since then.
Yeah.
My work can be shitty, man, but I'm enjoying every second of it.
I see you've piqued the interest of John over here with that mahogany cutting board with the Lichtenberg trails in it. I see him.
This mahogany, PJ gave me this stuff when I was
Pretty white face in the house. Oh, I'm so excited that Dave's here.
Oh, man.
What's up, Dave? Good to see you, brother.
David says, why does Hugh Jackman sound so Slavic?
I'm practicing I'm practicing for the next role, man.
Oh my God.
He's acting.
Yes, acting.
Practicing my Renaissance man.
Yes.
Yeah. So this slab, I think I stole it from PJ when he went to be behind
Yeah,
the shop. I just snuck it in my car.
He basically, he strong armed it from me. He just took it from me. There's nothing I could do.
Man. Nothing you can
Yeah.
do. Just grabs you. You're done.
Yep.
So,
aside from
those are. Go ahead, John.
aside from like the hurricanes and crap, is weather in Florida like pretty much perfect for woodworking, or do you have like really humid days that totally mess with the wood?
Every day is really humid.
Every day is really humid, man. Like,
So does that,
today-
does that make
Today was
like,
100%
difficulty with
humidity,
finishing
man.
and stuff?
Yes.
yeah.
So how do you
Yeah.
combat that? Do you have to put it in climate control when you
Air conditioning.
John
Talk
has
to Arturo about finishing.
man.
Arturo's our finishing.
John has
master.
to talk about listen to our podcast.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, man. Oh, you haven't? Oh
No,
God.
I
Hey,
have not.
yo, we're 3 episodes deep, man. Come on, you got to
Yeah.
catch up.
All
You
right.
might want to just skip to episode 3 though, because
Yeah,
we really don't know what we're doing
Yeah.
for one to two.
Start going uphill.
That's fine.
It's
Yes.
actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I don't tell him this often, but it's pretty good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dusko. That's the
Look
motivation.
at that.
Is this your
Look at that now.
birthday?
The only person that listens to it.
Yeah, that's a branding iron.
Now, is that an
I don't know.
iron, or do you have to? Is it electric, or you got to heat it up with a torch?
That's
No,
like-
this one's electric.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they're pretty good, and these guys really do some good job. Now since I got my laser, I don't need that no more.
Laser.
Laser's fun. I have one.
Yeah, they're really cool. I mean, it's a learning process as everything else, but
I love this guy.
it's
I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
but-
Renaissance man's a trip, man. The one night I was designing an end cap for railing, and he came in and he was busting my balls, and then I posted a photo or something, and he's like, "Is this the part where you go to Home Depot and buy the end cap instead of designing it?"
So I'm not gonna lie. So that bent lamination thing that you see Dusko doing, like Dusko was trying to figure out what exactly was that for. Dusko, was that like a sign or was that a lamp? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, this was the signs for hotel at South Beach.
Yeah.
That, it had like 2 of those bent ones and had like 9. I think it was 9 of just straight ones that for like a pool area for like a cabanas.
So
So-
I mean, we have the actual group chat, but then actually as like a text message, there's a group with me, Dusko, and PJ that actually probably predates the group chat, I'm guessing.
It does. Yeah.
And
Right.
so Dusko fires off something like, "Hey, like, how am I supposed to like get this wood, bent or curved in this certain way?" And me just being a smart ass is like, "Oh yeah, just go do some bent lamination, bro." And like, I wasn't really all that serious about it, and then he did it.
Well,
Man.
Doing a steam box, right?
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to do, it was like, should I do bent laminations? I never done it. I don't have a steam box. I really didn't want to now build all the forms and everything else because it was kind of cutting close. But in the end, I ended up building a form and cutting those strips. We couldn't get a hold of PJ because I wanted to do Little Cypress. But PJ was busy with his newborn baby, with little Michael.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's
so I ended up going to Home Depot, spending like 3 hours sorting out the freaking lumber and
Lumber
red
selection.
resin cedar. And then as at least here in our area down in Miami, the red resin cedar, it's so knotty that it's incredible. You can't get like every like 3 inches there is like a 60 knots.
Mhm.
So I ended up finding like sorting out through all the lumber. I did put everything back though, and ended up with a couple of boards that they were pretty good, and I could get nice material for 2 of those signs. Made the form out of MDF and just bend that SOB. Turned out very good though.
Yeah, it was perfect, man. I got to see them in person. And they
Yeah.
look clean, man. They look really good.
This was the sign, the 2.5D really. It was for Blake Shelton's concert here and up in Sawgrass in Fort Lauderdale, where I was approached by a person they needed to give him a concert organizer or whatever, so they wanted to have like his tour logo, which I think was like Friends of Heroes or whatever it was. So they wanted me to make something for him, and basically came up with that little box. Yeah, that's the one.
There he is.
Box with Blake. I heard he loved it. I never really met him, but I delivered that piece the day before the concert, and I guess they gave it to him. I actually waited for that picture like 2 months before I could actually even post it because of all these rights and whatever. But yeah, I mean, it turned out really good. It was a pretty hectic. I think I had 2 days to design it and carve it out. Just the design process, it took forever because I wasn't really that savvy in a 3D world. But we did it.
That thing there, John, the pirate ship and the girl and the wheel and everything. That Dusko. That was pretty cool, man. With the map,
it looks awesome. The detail is crazy. So now, did you render this in Metric or something?
Well, yeah, I do WeCarve. I use WeCarve Pro for all that. Now
it's a Spire or whatever.
Yeah, right. It's a Metric program. Now, this particular design, it's not my design. I purchased it from now a friend of mine from I think he's from Ukraine that does all this stuff. So we kind of became friends and we chat quite often now. He provided me with a nice few files for that.
I do want to answer Uncle Ron. It's so weird for me to say that out loud, but to answer Uncle Ron's
used to be Ron Brew it, build it, bust it, punch it, something.
Yeah, so he was asking about using router templates, and I have not done anything with router templates, but I do want to. And one of the kind of interesting things with this new crew that we have down here, right, is that obviously we have guys like Arturo and Dusko and other guys even in town with the CNC. And I do want to start using router templates for things. I mean, I think that is a great way to create repeatable builds, to create, I mean, just to have the visual acuity to really look into things and be able to design really like new and inventive stuff. And even today, like I had texted Arturo this picture of something, not really like a router template thing. This is more of like a CNC design assembly kind of thing, but it looked like just a bunch of different CNC parts that were all just compiled together in sort of an ingrained fashion. I was like, we have to get on something like this because that could be super fun. So
is that the Amana bit there?
Oh, the chair.
Yeah, that's bull nose Amana.
Because I got that Amana one. And I haven't used it yet.
Arturo's got the chair up on the screen there. That's the chair Chris is talking about. Just a bunch of pieces of plywood.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You know,
that's
walnut. Could you do it
on Instagram?
Walnut.
Yeah, I found that on Instagram, and I literally it was probably off of one of those repost sites that have probably reposted that thing like 42 times.
Yeah,
trying to now sell T-shirts or something. But yeah, like as soon as I saw it, I literally screenshot it and was like, dude, like that's a design. You know, I'm actually thinking about trying to use it as a dining table chair. That looks more like an office lounger, but.
So
yeah.
where's this place that Ron says? Is that close to you guys?
Oh, Cal. Oh, Cal.
Yeah.
3 hours now.
Yeah, 3-4 hours.
Let's try 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours.
Well, Dusko's got that.
So where Dusko is, that's like 8 hours. Like, come on, Dusko lives in like Key Largo.
That's with Hugo, man.
Dusko is pretty far south,
man. Oh yeah, that was the
So that's in Vetric too, or whatever. Or
yeah, that was on VCar Pro, yeah.
Yeah, VCar,
yeah.
Man. Well, yeah. I mean, Renaissance man.
If you go up a little bit. There you go. On the you see that's one of, let's say, domino table that
Oh yeah, the river.
with the river. Yeah,
That's the Miami River, actually. Isn't it?
Yeah.
that is a Miami River. That is a Miami River. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's why
between the 17th and 27th Avenue. Yeah.
You mean
You-
the
you did
stream of liquid going through two bodies of land table?
Yes.
Pequeña that's a Cuban crest. It's really for a customer. That's not mine.
Been a ton of bodies dumped in that river, man.
And those also handmade. Well, not handmade. The CNC, I designed them and carved them out. Yeah.
What's the river in Jersey that all the bodies get dumped in? I know you guys got one of
Delaware.
those up there. Yeah, Delaware. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the
Really,
Miami River down here.
Schuylkill is the one, but that's in PA.
Isn't the Delaware River that famous one that George Washington crossed, where they have the
Oh,
painting?
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Correct.
painting. Yeah, cross the
Just-
yeah. To,
It's just
History.
made by about
defeat the
45
Hessians
minutes.
on New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. Excuse me, Christmas Eve.
That's how you get them. You get them when they're thinking they're getting presents, and
Yeah, man. Like
they're getting you.
Yep.
They're getting- Surprise!
Oh, there's a great picture. If you go up a couple notches there, with Dusko holding a.
Oh,
That's
That
actually
is-
that's a
That's a
bandsaw.
normal size standing
Yeah.
bandsaw.
This is that is a
Oh,
14-inch bandsaw, man.
no, 17, brother.
no,
17.
it's
No, that's
36,
not
man.
14.
Yeah.
Is
It's
that,
36. That's Jimmy DeResta's 36 inch handsaw.
is that for
Dusko is a monster.
If you look at all the pictures, Dusko's like 3 feet taller than everybody.
Then everything else.
No,
so wait, that thing's really like 6 foot tall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, Dusko or the machine? The machine.
No,
The machine.
Dusko's 9 feet tall, man. Come on.
Yeah, he has to be a night.
No, but I think I got this because I think I was between, because I have a 14-inch bandsaw and that I normally only use for resawing, and I was like, I really need something for like a small cuts and curves and stuff like that. And I always keep like either 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch blade in my 14-inch. So I really need something with a 1/4 inch blade. So I think I reached out to Chris. I said, Chris, what do you think? Grizzly or I don't know, whatever it was. What was it? Chris, do you remember?
Outside band.
Yeah. It was on, I want to say it was on sale, right? Like,
Yeah, it wasn't like for like 100 and I don't know, 60
it
bucks or
was
something like that.
cheap.
It
And I was just like,
super
dude,
cheap.
just get it.
So I was between this one and I don't know what was the other one, but I ended up with this one. And let me tell you, this little thing is, I swear that this thing is a beast, man.
Where do you buy the blades at? Toys R Us or something?
The blades?
Yeah.
No, Arturo gets it for me.
Yeah, right.
Arturo is the man.
Those blades are forged on the same planet that Thor like forges his hammer on, and
He
like
forges his
Earth
hammer,
Avengers.
that-
Like,
There you go.
yeah,
Hey,
I mean-
keep in mind, this thing is 6 feet tall, though.
yeah.
Jeez, man.
That cornhole board in the back of that one is also like 12 feet tall. So
Yeah.
just for perspective.
Yeah. Now reference this. Now go back to
Everything is super size, right?
right
Like,
here.
check myself, yeah.
You guys are such ball busters.
I'll tell you what though, man, Dusko
Wait,
does
wait, wait,
really
till the
great
after show.
work.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like that is
qualified now,
awesome, man. Like Dusko does some
Yeah.
really quality
I
work.
think that
Yes.
was like.
Is this Shuggy Bun?
Yeah, it is.
Is it burnt? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Shuggy
is.
Shuggy Bun.
Shoshugi
Chris,
man.
Chris is Japanese. Chris, what is this?
Yeah,
How you correctly say this?
as the resident Asian on the podcast, it's Shoshugi.
And
Man.
Warrior.
There you go. I can
Yeah.
never say that. I can never
Oh,
say that.
double arigato.
I can never say that way. But yeah,
Also, I'm not Japanese, but there's that.
I had Chinese for dinner. I had General Tso's actually for dinner. If that helps.
Yes.
And
There's
I
actually a
stayed-
great
Stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night too.
there's a great documentary on Netflix about General Tso's chicken.
General.
It-
Yeah.
Was he a real general?
How he got the name and all that. Well, the guy who did it, wasn't, I think, or something like that, and it was actually named after a general.
Yeah.
Okay, because he was a firecracker. You know, he had a really spicy personality. Is that what it was?
Something like that. Yeah.
I went with the fried rice on the side also. couple egg rolls to
Very
go.
nostalgic. Very nostalgic.
Oh man, look at this with the keychains.
I like that. The keychains.
I
I don't have a
that was-
Mercedes, but the keychains are nice.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first projects that I've done on the CNC. One of them. One of the first.
There you got some good resin going. Got the domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, that domino he's used like 4 times.
Not even, dude.
Uh,
Maybe
No,
one.
not even once. I used it once.
Arturo used it more than he did.
I've used it more in the last 2 weeks.
Listen, I'm running a tab.
I've used
I
it
think it's like what?
so much.
He's like 5 weeks and like 2 days in already.
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know. It's been like
Oh, you
almost-
still have it, Arturo? You still have his domino?
Yeah, I
Oh
use
my
it.
God.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised he already sold it.
Yeah, I did see one pop up today
Yeah.
on Craigslist.
he sold it with the dust collector. Yeah.
Resident Asian.
Is that raisin?
Is that a raisin? Ah!
Because I don't know if you've heard this, but Asian don't raisin. That's actually an expression.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's true. They do age pretty well. Chris is actually 80,
65.
80, yeah. Oh man,
Uh,
that's funny.
This is good. So yeah,
First
appreciate you guys.
XR run. That's a nice farm table right there, man. That farm table.
The farm table,
Pretty,
yeah.
yeah.
And that was pine, believe it or not.
Yep. Yep. Oh, with breadboard ends. I see. You got a nice long tenon on there. If, if my eyes.
I do. I think I have like it's about 1.5 inch that I ran it, and it's all the way across.
Chris can relate to that.
And then always some dollars, some dollars.
You guys are right on the edge.
But you're right on. We're not going
We
over.
always keep the lawyer. That's why we always keep the lawyer around. He tells us like we're right there. Bring it down one more notch.
Are you kidding me? Like, if you listen to the pod, like, I'm always taking it to here.
Yeah.
Too far. Yeah. This guy.
That's usually because I haven't had enough coffee and I don't even know what I'm saying. At 8
Until you
o'clock.
talk about laws. When you get
You
about
do-
laws, then
yeah.
it just goes out.
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
out,
his
man.
his tone changes. Like he's really
Yeah,
passionate about that.
drastically, too.
This
Yeah.
is crazy. I mean, look at this.
That's nice.
Love that.
That's a like a veneer of like what's it
Looks like
called?
Babingo
Yeah.
almost.
Inga? No, what's the darker wood?
I have
But
no
I
idea.
think-
what it- Yeah, it's something like eBay.
Oh, Wenge.
Wingate, there you go.
Wenge.
But it's really one of those veneers only. I think it's just MDF and I kind of veneer because I was trying to do a project. This was really a test piece that I actually still have it. I have it like storage of my kids' computers, the ones that don't use anymore. It's like
Oh
1,
man.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 laptops right there.
Oh
Incredible.
my god.
That table actually
but so it was just a test piece to see how it goes. But it's awesome, man. I love it.
Dude, what? Look at this.
Yeah, and that actually moves in real life too.
Yep.
Of course it does. Yeah. We pioneered that shit.
It's not a river table though. It's a tributary table.
Yeah.
Or a delta
Is
table.
a intercoastal in between
Intercoastal waterway.
Right.
body of water.
Intra.
That's right on the exit of Miami River over there by the Epic.
That's where all the bodies are at the end of it. You know,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Port Everglades table.
Yeah.
No, not Port Everglades.
That's when he was proud of the rigid saw.
Oh, actually-
Port of Miami. Hey, Port of Miami. I'm in the business. Man.
I love this
Yeah.
using the twine
Those are-
business cards. I mean, it's just
Yeah. Classy, man. Dusko is a class act for sure.
Yeah.
it's like something you see at like a pier. What is it? Pier 26 or Pier 40? what-
Pier
what is it?
1, man. Yeah, Pier
Pier
1.
1. Yeah.
Pier 1, yeah.
40 numbers left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are little coasters. Actually, those coasters. I think I've done. I think probably over 100 of them. They were done for. So that's the company I actually worked for, the Seaboard Marine. It was like a 35th anniversary, and we got like a bunch of those little like coins
Mm-hmm.
that didn't know what to do with it, and they were like, "Hey, can you make something out of it?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I actually made those little coasters.
That's really cool.
And this is actually pre-CNC. This was done on the lathe.
No.
Yeah, you can see one of the pictures either before this, I think. I had like I glued like a big chunk of walnut and just turn it on my Harbor Freight lathe, and then cut piece by piece. Yeah, there you go, right there, the picture right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Dude, that's insane. And then you just did that. How'd you slice it on the bandsaw?
No, I actually cut it. You're saying after
just slice them up.
yeah, you slice them up on the bandsaw, yeah.
Yeah. And then when you cut on a bandsaw, okay, so you guys, how do you keep your blade so it doesn't flex, so you don't end up with like a wonky piece that's when you're cutting with the bandsaw?
My blade,
really long blade, a wide blade. I mean,
I use either 1/2 inch or 3/4. I have some issues right now. I gotta see maybe it's adjustment, and I just purchased a new blade. It could be a bad blade because all the settings are right, everything is right. So I think it's just a bad blade. So I just bought it from the Florida Woodworkers.
but how about your blade? You got like the whole
test it out
and everything.
Well, no, I kind of homemade one. I made fence and I made a little like a feather board.
Yep.
I kind of like doing my own stuff rather than buy it. So there's few very simple ones that I'm not sure. I think there's one of the slides where I do show my feather board. It's very simple, like a V shape. You just clamp it and it holds the board against the blade. So it's kind of pretty neat, pretty simple.
This was you preparing for it.
Yeah, that was the piece. You just got the corners off on the table saw and put it in the lathe and turn it.
Kitchen island. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, he's a big fan of the Odie's oil.
I love all of these, man. I really do.
It smells nice.
I mean, listen. I've been using Odie's for maybe 3-4 years, and I really had great results. I never had any complaint on anything I ever put that oil on it, and I still have like a bunch of stuff that I made for myself. You don't have to refinish it. You don't have to deal with water. I love it. I really do. I know that there's a lot of things going on the internet between Odie's and Osmo and Rubio and this and that. I think they're all great products. I never really used any other two, so I really can't judge. But since I've only used Odie's, I can only say that I love it. I don't know about the other two, but I really do want to try it.
So you make a lot of breadboards. You make a lot of breadboards too, or no?
Quite a bit. I mean, I really do. I mean, this is not my full-time job, obviously. So I kind of like do most of the projects I really connect to. So I kind of pick and choose what I'm going to do. So, but when I do things like this was obviously every woodworking at the beginning. A bunch of cutting boards and a bunch of cheese boards and this and that. But I kind of like to use every now and then. I see like you have a bunch of offcuts that you don't know what to do with it, and so to like make a cutting board, angry cutting board, or a serving board, and you give it Christmas, birthday, any occasions really to just give
Wait,
it to
so
somebody.
you built this table too?
Yeah.
The chairs we purchased, or did you build?
No. The chairs we purchased. I just built the table. As a matter of fact, this particular table, I think this couple that they bought this, they sold the old house, and the couple that bought the house wanted 2 tables together with the house. Otherwise, they weren't going to buy the house. So this couple, when they went either on honeymoon or something like that in Italy, they saw these tables and they bought 2 of them and they shipped them to Miami. And now when they were selling the house, this new buyer wanted these tables to go with the house. So these guys approached me and they said, listen, can you make a replica out of these tables? So this table and the other table, I think that the last post on my feed, I think I just posted it today. those were replicas of the tables that they bought in Italy that costed them like tens of thousands of dollars. Or
Wow.
whatever. But yeah, that's the one. That is the another one. It's like bar table. It's actually like a 4 columns that interlock with the glass between.
Wow,
It's gonna pretty neat.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's all about
And-
the finish.
And of course, they wanted to finish to match the existing chairs and whatnot. But man, this is. You see, these are kind of like a challenging stuff that I like, and I'm glad to take even now. Obviously, I'm not gonna do it for free, but again, I like those type of challenges when you need to make something that looks so freaking awesome.
Yeah. That like it doesn't look like anything else that you've made too. Like it's a totally different style.
Yeah. I mean, no, absolutely. And that's why I take projects that I find challenging and that I like. That really calls my attention for whatever reason, and just jump in it.
Oh man, what is this?
So,
Oh,
Look at this cookie, man! Damn.
so we already had PJ on, so we're not going to entertain looking through
I'm old.
hours of PJ's post.
I'm
But
old.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined in. I appreciate you stopping by the live stream, and thank you guys for being part of the What Is Good podcast, South Florida chapter. That's awesome.
Yo, fellas, we have a chapter. We have a whole.
South Florida Woodworkers chapter. Yeah.
legit.
Well, yeah, like somebody tell them what the actual group chat name is, because
No.
You probably should not. You probably should not.
no, it's very G-rated, but like
No,
Okay.
listen. John, you can't say we didn't behave, man.
Yeah, no, that's you guys
right.
are right on.
Very professional.
Yeah, you guys put on your inside voices and your well
yeah,
behaved.
we really had to hold it together.
Yeah.
You have no idea, man.
And Arturo, I need to talk to you more about your CNC at some point.
Yeah, man.
Sure. Anytime, man. Anytime. You know where to find me.
That. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we're gonna conclude this now, and we'll stay in touch and have another one of these. And if any of you guys want to be a guest co-host on the next What Is Good podcast, let me know. Jason is taking a break temporarily because he's not able to do it on Wednesday, so I'm just keeping the momentum going.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, Jason.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
get it together.
Yeah, man.
He's right there with his kids. They're playing softball.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fair enough. Yeah, dude, this was cool. I mean, I looked it up. I didn't even know the real name of the group chat down south. It's the Maker Alliance of 305 and 954. Dale.
Dale.
No, you're gonna say Dale.
Dale.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure Dave actually came up with the name, didn't he?
Did he?
I
No,
want to say.
I think we've changed it like a few times now.
I couldn't even tell you.
yeah, I think it was something inappropriate before.
So I want to call your attention to what I'm doing right now. So this is a print that I designed in Fusion 360 this morning, and I'm 3D printing it now. So I installed a light above my front door outside, and when I removed the old light, which was square 8 inches, it turns out there was a hole that was like 6 inches. And the thing that they gave us for the light was like 4 inches. So now there's this 4-inch thing in there with a 6-inch hole. So this is a medallion. Instead of going to Home Depot to buy one, I just designed it and I'm 3D printing it right now.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Oh man, 3D printing is so cool.
Oh,
Like, just
3D
the ability. Yeah, the ability to make your own components is amazing.
Now, John, let me ask you about the Fusion 360 because I mean I like computers. I like all those programs and stuff like that, and but I'm self-taught and all that stuff. But Fusion 360, man, that thing. How do you like that stuff, man? That thing was
I could teach you Fusion 360 in probably an hour.
What?
Man,
No,
I took. I mean, I'm. I can. Do.
you already know Vetric. You already know Vetric.
Yeah, I can do a lot of stuff. That was before the veteran, though.
You understand 3D. You already understand 3D modeling, so it's not an issue.
I did before even Fusion 360 because I've been doing SketchUp for forever. But when I jumped from SketchUp into Fusion 360, it was a different world. I mean, I understood the end product and the whole process, but man, it is just for me. And I like to think of myself as somebody who's a fast learner when it comes to this stuff. But I don't know, something about it that I was like, you know what, takes me too long to design, takes me too long to
I can
create.
seriously have a session with you. I can have a session with you in about an hour.
Yeah.
That will
I
what you need to do.
Yeah, I wasn't going to use it on the 3D printer. I was only going to use it just to create toolpaths and import the G codes to my CNC, and it would just take too long. And I was like, let me. That's how I jumped into VCarve. I was like, oh my god, this is like day and night.
Well, VCarve, is pretty much for just rendering stuff quickly, but Fusion 360 is for accurately creating something.
Oh, I mean,
with
it is
the ability of having assemblies too, and then doing finite element analysis, and it's crazy. You can design. Let's say you're going to design like some type of bracket, right? And you know it's going to be like a triangle, so like 45 degrees, and it's going to be a bracket that's going to hold something. And then if you have the weight like pushing on it or whatever in the Fusion 360, you can actually do finite element analysis. It'll show you where the stress points are, and it'll like algorithmically just remove material from it so that it's lighter and maximize. It's insane what it can do.
Absolutely. I mean, I loved it. It was just for me. I mean, I still would love to learn it, but it was just for me to run the business. It was just taking way too long. I just couldn't. I was like, let me jump onto something else a little bit easier.
Just to show you what I did, this is a piece of furniture I built for a film production company local to us. They do a lot of Nat Geo and Discovery and Netflix shows. So they wanted a fancy-looking futuristic table. So this is one that I built for them. And I used the CNC 3D printing electronics. But I'm trying to find something. Oh yeah, here's something I 3D printed. So for this table, I needed a port.
I like that one there.
Which one?
All the way over to the right. Down one.
Oh, this is the family room with the.
No, down one from there.
Yeah, the one under that one.
That's my favorite. That's what I'm interested in there.
This one?
Did you 3D print that one too?
This guy here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I 3D printed him. Yeah. He's fat. So I even 3D printed these crossdales. So I did. Cool. I designed my own crossdale thingy and 3D printed it. See if I can show you some.
I saw him up a little bit in the middle.
Yeah, so.
That's funny. Can you scroll up just above the Eagles logo right there? Like, what is that?
Okay, so this is what I was saying. I needed something that I could plug in the table because they needed a way to charge the table. I don't know if I have a good photo of.
Oh, I understand. It's a battery pack for the LEDs.
Yeah, but I don't think I have a good photo. I don't think I have a photo. Oh yeah, here it is. So this is the plug right there. So that I just drilled a hole in the side of the table, but I designed it in Fusion 360 so that it fit the hole drill that I had, so I didn't have to go buy another hole drill. But it needed to be big enough to accept the plug. And then I glued the plug in to the back there so that when you plug the extension cord in, it doesn't push the battery charger plug out, you know? And then I just painted it black with the Rust-Oleum Universal Flat Black, and you can't tell, really. And then these are some things that I designed and 3D printed to hold the LEDs up. Because if you have the side with the LEDs, like this is the side right here with the LEDs, and they'll just like fall down. The adhesive on the aluminum will just fall down. So I use these as like little tiny splines to kind of give extra pressure to the aluminum tape so it wouldn't fall down and sag. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so this is the jig I built.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so,
Oh wow! Oh,
So
that's
all that 3D printed, all those
yeah,
everything there.
so,
Wow.
I mean, this took a lot of time for me to do.
Sure.
It's like, okay, why'd you do this? Well, because I can.
Yeah. And now
really-
you have it forever.
Really
Now you have
answer, yeah. But
Now-
then
now-
jig, what's that?
how long does it take you to print something like this?
This, I'm not sure. I'd have to look back in the live stream because I was live
But more or
printing.
less.
But I'd say a day to print. But it's like you let it go, and you're not supposed to, but you can walk away, And, but
like,
yeah,
is your thing is working right now? You're just kind of like live streaming it, do its thing as you're.
yeah. So right now it's just over the other side of me here.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
looking at
badass.
it. And I got my Raspberry Pi. That's the webcam fed in through the stream, so I can just use the HTTP to that to bring it into OBS.
Nice.
Yeah, so I just made my own crosstails. Why? Because they were really friggin' expensive for just 4 crosstails. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I'll just 3D print them because I got a ton of filament, and the box of quarter 20 nuts was nothing, right?
Yeah.
And then so this is the adapter for the template, the jig, for being able to drill a hole through. So where this bolt is where the drill will go through. Like the drill will go through this side here. I'm not even showing you. Hold on. So the drill will go through this side here to plunge into the part, through this way, through the end of the MDF.
Mhm.
And then the hole here is for the paddle bit or Forstner bit, whatever you're going to use, to drill through to the other side. And that's how I got the holes perfectly aligned.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can see, and then this part here, I made this so it's sacrificial, so I could just print a new part. I could pop that out because the flutes of the drill.
Sure.
destroy
They'll
the
wear
base
away with
every time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Craig jig. If you go a long time with that same bit and it gets dull, you have to push hard. It kind of wears away at the side of the sleeve of the
Oh, I
Craig.
didn't know that. Oh.
Same thing.
Do
Yeah.
they-
Well, there
do
you
they
go.
sell
You can,
new sleeves.
well, you just buy a new thing. Really, they're not.
I'm gonna buy a new jig.
I have.
I know.
I might design my own and 3D print it then.
There you go, man. See that? Could be competition for Armor Tool.
And then if you know Khan Academy, he does the whole algebra and math thing, and he's always drawing on a pad. Well, I use the same bamboo pad that he uses with the art program.
Huh.
I sketched it up in the live sheet. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to design. And then in Fusion 360, I started designing it. And I didn't know what I was doing at first in Fusion 360. So what I would do when I show you Dusko is just to kind of get past all the stuff that I did and show you exactly the way that you would want to do it.
Oh no, man! This is something I'm definitely gonna read you up on it because I really want to learn a little bit of it because I know some basic stuff, but I'm far from seeing. I tried running some G codes and stuff like that, and it comes like crap. So,
How strong is that filament stuff? Like, how strong is that? Would it suffice for like something that gets beat up like a Craig jig? Or
The stuff that I did, or are you
the
talking about
filament? Can you use different filaments or like?
Yeah, they have different filaments you can use. Yeah, you can use nylon filament.
You use carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber filament. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, there's different filaments you can use. But see, I would do it in a way. If I was going to make an equivalent of a Craig jig, I would do it where I would have a replaceable metal sleeve.
Yeah.
And then design it around that, and then just slap in a new sleeve. I'd have to find a supplier for sleeves. So this is a battery cover I designed for the rigid battery. It slips right on, you just hit the 2 buttons and you can pull the battery off. So it works well. I can screw this right into the wall.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it worked well. I ended up making it to revision 11.
what was that spiral thing? What was that spiral thing? What was the spiral thing that you had over there?
My son
DNA.
had a math project and he needed DNA, and he would have
Oh.
had to make DNA. He's here now looking at me. He would have had to make it with like what would you have to make the
stuff that would take way too long.
Yeah, it would have taken them way too long. So this took a long time too. I mean, the print took, I think, 2 days total,
Oh wow.
18 hours, but it didn't
Damn.
involve me doing anything really. I just had to like periodically watch it. So I just hit it up, and then he got a good grade on that. He just had to paint each one of these, whatever the hell they're called, different colors to match the whatever they're called, the nucleotides. I don't know what they're called.
Nucleotides. Yes.
Damn, I thought my 8 hours 3D carving was too long. Shit.
What's Gattaca?
But anyway, so that's it. Just showed you a little bit.
Pretty neat, man. Pretty neat.
Yeah, so we'll get together again, and yeah, hit me up when you want to learn about Fusion 360.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like I said,
Sure.
aside some time.
Sure.
Not next week, but maybe the week after. I can set aside an hour and teach you. And we
Nice.
can even do it online too. I can show you, and then
Hey, I'll
guys
jump in on that too. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I'm down to just like listen and get some of the terminology down first. You know.
So PJ, do you do anything on the computer at all for designing, or do you do everything just on paper?
All up here, pal. All up here.
Yeah, you're all paper. Okay.
No, not
Plans?
even like
What are plans?
Yeah, I don't even like plans, dude. The basis
you're
of my
you're the kind you just see it and you know what you're gonna do.
yeah, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a sculptor by any means, but like
Yeah.
I use what's available to make stuff. You know, like
Yep.
what do I have?
PJ,
Like,
PJ, why don't you tell them what you do with the plants that Chris brings over?
I crumple them up.
No.
Well, you know, if you crumple up a sheet of paper enough times, it becomes like downy soft. It's really it feels quite comfortable if you use it to wipe yourself. But
All right. So I guess we'll call it quits there.
that being said, okay. All right, fellas.
fellas.
Hey, it was a pleasure, man. You know,
Shout out to Renaissance Man, and again, man, you got the invite down here to South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, whatever. Stop by whenever you want. Let's hang out, man.
listen, Renaissance Man, if you're not wearing out the sleeves in your Craig jig, you're not doing it right, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Make sure you're hitting all the sides. Yeah.
All the sides, man.
Why do I have a feeling we're not talking about the Craig jig?
Oh, what do you mean, John? Of course we were talking about the Craig jig. John, get your mind out of the gutter, please.
Yeah.
Come on, it's a family show.
Yeah. Make sure to touch that button at the top of the Craig jig too.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right, guys. All right. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, fellas.
Cheers.
Signing off.
It's
Signing
been
off.
real.
All right. Take care.